Welcome to DQRB Analyzer and DQ Rulebook's Data Bureau service. What do you do if you come across duplicate information for a client, but the information in each isn't the same? How do you know which data is the correct data for that record? Welcome to the DQ Rulebook's video on creating a golden record. A golden record contains the best possible information available. It may be that you have two different addresses for a client and don't know which to use, or that you have data about a product but there are different prices for it. Whatever the situation, DQ Rulebooks can help. Firstly, we need some data to create the golden record from. As you can see, in this data there are 3 records for each client, each containing either a value for postcode, email address, or a telephone number. The objective is to combine these records so that each client has just one golden record containing all the information about them. We need a column that uniquely identifies each client, so we're going to create a key. To do this, we use a function called concatenate, which means to put together. The 3 columns we select are first name, last name, and date of birth. When this has been created, we can group the data on this key column. The key identifies the client, not the row. When grouped on this key, all the original information associated with the client is still contained within the groupings. To get this to populate the golden record, we use a function called groupValues. This populates a field with every value that is contained within that group for it. Because each group only has one value for each field, this is what populates the columns. We do this for all 3 columns, and then all we need to do is delete the originals and rename the columns containing the group values. So it's easy to create a golden record if the information is scattered across different records, but what if there's conflicting information? For example, what if there were multiple email addresses attributed to one client? First, we have to create a unique identifying key column as before, then group on it. We use the group values expression again, but this time the top 2 clients have 2 email addresses attributed to them. But which one is the right one to use? We hide the original email column to keep the table tidy, and then we can create a new custom expression to split the list of values out into individual ones. This first expression is going to return the first value in the list. To do this, we're going to use the before function that's built into the product, and also we're going to use a decision to ensure the expression works on all the rows. We then name this option 1. To create option 2, we simply use the opposite function, after. This time we don't need to use a decision, as if there was only one value in the list, then this was already returned as option 1, so to have a blank in option 2 is what we'd expect to see. Once the 2 options have been created, we need to decide which to use. For this, we're going to create an expression that examines the validity of the 2 options as email addresses. To do this, we use the matchesExpression function and set the expression to be the built-in business constant email addresses. The outcome of this will either be true or false, and is then fed as the 2 input functions of the decision. We then need to create some conditions. The first condition says that if option 1 is valid and option 2 is empty, then use option 1, and vice versa for the second condition. The third says that if option 1 and option 2 are equal, then return option 1. The next condition says that if option 1 is valid and option 2 is not, then return option 1. And the next is the opposite of this. If none of these criteria are met, then we will need to review the options manually, so it will simply return review. Another common way of deciding which to use if there is more than one option for a column is to return the most common value. This file has many more records for each client. We begin the same as with the other files, by creating a unique key, grouping the data on this key, and then creating a new column with the group values. Then we create another new custom column and use the most common in list function. This returns a column containing the most common value from the list and also how many times the value occurs. Whilst this is useful from an analytical point of view, in this situation we only want to return the value so that it can populate the new column. To do this we use the before function, to only return the actual value. There are a few different situations in which you may wish to have a golden record created. It may be that you're performing deduplication and want to ensure that after you've deduplicated, the data you're left with is the best quality data possible. Another reason to create golden records is in relation to master data management. Many businesses have multiple sources of data across their organisation, and golden record creation can take the best bits from each of these sources and create the best data set possible. The criteria for what data should be in the golden record can be completely tailored to the needs of the client. Whatever your reason for creating a golden record, DQ Rulebooks can ensure that you get the highest quality golden record possible created using your exact specifications.